I think it would have been great to have been more patient. I certainly have a tendency to become impatient, especially if I wanted an answer and I want it now, or I want something to be practical and have immediate results. So patience, I think, has been a big thing that I would have told my younger self. This is probably a good thing to have. Also, just understanding that as a younger person, I wasn't as committed to relationships, and I didn't like the feeling of being trapped. But I think I would have told myself, hey, isn't the relationship worth it? What's the positives of this? Why are you focusing on the negatives? That kind of thing.
Something I've learned about relationships that I would tell my younger self is that, hey Joyce, you're gonna be in a relationship, and sometimes you might get underhanded compliments or like backhanded compliments, and don't take that. You're better than that. And sometimes we can compromise our own standards because we love someone, but what's most important is that we keep our standard, because without that, it's easy to let a lot of things slide that shouldn't slide. So I would be like, hold on to your sense of self-respect, even though like you can love someone a lot.
I would say be more mindful of how much of a void you're making when you kind of get consumed in your inner world for too long. In particular, not being aware of how little things can be important, like something simple as good morning, or like, just little things, and just being aware how those little things can go a long way, either positively or negatively. And also be willing to, even in the cases when you're right, be willing to put that thing to the side, acknowledge the person, how they're feeling first. When they're happy that you've acknowledged them, then return to that thing that you felt you were right about, when they're in a better state to appreciate your point.
I would just tell my younger self, don't worry, it'll be okay. You build up some self-confidence, and then some extrovert is going to find you and be friends with you. And just lean into it. Did you say advice? You got to share your feelings at a certain point, and the sooner the better, especially for you.
I mean, through my own training to become a therapist, I've certainly gotten experience working with couples, and I think the best thing I've learned is that communication is the key. It's so simple, and we've been taught that, but people in relationships do not communicate as much as they could, and setting appropriate boundaries. Boundaries is so important. Personal boundaries for yourself, but then also relationship boundaries. If you have those set and clear and you follow those, then the relationship should work.
So the thing is, Maya Angelou talks about how when someone shows you their real self, you should trust it. So the best relationship advice I've heard is that when your partner shows a red flag or a problematic trait of theirs, to listen to it and to not just shove it off because your hormones are telling you, I love this person, but to keep it in mind, because those little micro flags that you see are actually the pattern that someone is. It is the cycle of a person. And to pay attention to that small thing and to know what it means in terms of it coming back in the future, because it is a pattern of their behavior, and nothing is really isolated.
No one's directly given me advice, but in terms of advice I've come across, when there is a problem, it's fine to fight and get things out and conflict, because that's where you grow. Don't be worried about the conflict, but be mindful of how you guys fight or talk about things, because it's really important not to look at problems from the highest abstraction. Rather, when you have a problem with someone, talk about it in the most grounded possible way. So, let's say your partner hasn't cleaned the house, and it's a continuous pattern, and instead of saying to them, oh, you're a slob and you'll always be a slob, like, I'm not happy, instead of attaching this character defining thing to them about this thing you're unhappy about, you could walk in and say, I'm not really happy that this place isn't clean. Could you maybe be mindful that just before I come home, I'll be tired, so can you tidy up 10 minutes before 7 p.m. Make it a specific thing rather than this high thing where, like, you're a slob, fix yourself. It's like, what is someone meant to do with that? Like,
sort of like the biggest thing I remember taking away was that was seeing people getting over relationships and being like, okay, actually, I need to work more on friendships. And so I kind of focused that on myself and realized, oh, I could be a lot better at friendships, and I'm even wanting to use a relationship to jump into some security that I can then get through some of the things that I'm not dealing with, as far as being better at being a friend. Then I kind of applied that to just be friends with someone before you get into a relationship with them.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or suggestions, or you just want to get in touch, feel free to drop us a line in the comment section, and don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and if you feel so inclined, share these with your friends. Again, thanks so much. Take care.